Really, at this point, I think they don't even care what Resident Evil is all about and what fans want to see. They released 2 trailers for the new Resident Evil Netflix series, and if you would change some names and logos, it could be a completely different franchise. Let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Andy, welcome to Screenfire. Before we start dissecting the 2 new Resident Evil Netflix trailers they released, don't forget to give us a like at the end of the video and subscribe if you enjoyed it and if you want to see more. You know what? I'm tired. I really am. No matter who's directing the Resident Evil movies or in this case the new Netflix series, no one gets it right. They don't understand the DNA. You may be surprised, but I have some positive things to say about the Netflix series, but first I need to get all the bad things out of my system, because there's a lot that annoys the hell out of me. Resident Evil is all about being isolated and overcoming your fears. A classic horror concept. Is it really that hard? It's not about how many umbrella logos you can put in or some stupid name dropping, but let's start at the beginning of the first trailer. As they already announced, we have 2 timelines, one in New Raccoon City playing in 2022 and one in London playing in 2036. The first thing that annoyed me was New Raccoon City. If they don't plan on telling the original story, why reuse the old names? It just doesn't make any sense at all. Imagine you're a pharmaceutical company who does some shady business with bioorganic weapons, and because of your actions, a whole city was destroyed. Millions of dead people. Would you build a new city with the same name to remind everyone that you were responsible? Just stop catering to fans' nostalgia. If you want to tell a new story in the same universe, that's fine with me, but take the core elements and try a believable approach. I don't need drinking bottles with umbrella logos. Remember the first game? Even in the remake, there were almost no umbrella logos visible. Why? Because they conduct their experiments in secret. It doesn't make any sense at all to put it on every wall or even on a bottle. Imagine the pharma company Bayer would secretly build rockets. Do you think they would put their logo on them or even would make it public if they could cover it up? I know it's a small thing, but it annoys me since the first Anderson movie. As mentioned, the second timeline plays in 2036 in London and has a Mad Max kind of vibe. Not much, just a little bit. I mean, yeah, I guess they could do that, but it doesn't feel like Resident Evil to me. That's where I think, why name it Resident Evil if you want to give us a completely different feeling? Because quality-wise, this looks good. Camera work looks good, the sets look fine, and even the acting, or what we could see of it in the trailer, is way better than what we got in the last film. Especially the special effects are way better than what I expected. We can see a licker, a Cerberus, aka zombie dog, a spider, and even a gravedigger-like worm creature. They really did a fine job. But Jade and Billy Wesker, Wesker's children, who's also one of Wesker's children, you know, just like Alex Wesker in Revelations 2, not the original Wesker, obviously. Anyway, I already hate Billy and Jane. But I hate most teenagers in movies. Stranger Things or even Stephen King's It and Stand By Me are huge exceptions. Because they don't try to be cool, I guess. I really can't stand cool teenagers. They first need to earn my respect before I can accept them as cool and worthy to live and survive. They even have access to the lab, which is kind of strange, but we also see adult Wesker doing something with their blood, so maybe they're just nothing more than another experiment. In the second trailer, they also talk about the new drug with the name Joy. Wesker calls it a so-called miracle pill. It's an antidepressant that cures OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, it lowers anxiety, and it increases focus. Something that would make a company rich beyond their wildest dreams. But 2 seconds later, Wesker says that they spiked it with the T virus because it makes monsters, and that's, I don't know, good for business somehow? Again, Umbrella isn't supposed to be some evil company that is evil because reasons. No, they want to make money. Simple as that. If you want to sell me the company as something that I consider believable, then let them act believable. Zombies aren't their business model. It's a byproduct of the T virus, and if they could avoid it, they would, because it's bad for business. Why would they put the T virus in something that million people would consume? Even if they make a lot of money because of it, the money would be worthless because there wouldn't be a world left where you could spend it. And I know Capcom themselves fucked the whole story up in later games, but at least 1, 2, and 3 made kind of sense to me. I mean, even there are plenty of plot holes, but to a level that I can accept. You know, suspension of disbelief just works to a certain degree. I can accept bioorganic weapons and a tyrant with a heart outside of his body, which would be pretty stupid to be honest, but give me something that is grounded, even if it's just the motivation of the company. Entertainment Weekly interviewed one of the showrunners, Andrew Depp, after they showed them the first 2 episodes at their headquarters in New York. And according to Depp, all games serve as backstory for their show. And you know, this is a problem because you have the first trilogy and Code Veronica, who have a completely different tone when it comes to storytelling compared to 4, 5, and 6, and 7 and Village were completely different compared to the second trilogy. If you want to bring Resident Evil to the big screen or even make it a Netflix series, you need to decide what kind of story you want to tell. Because the serious approach of the Resident Evil 2 remake doesn't fit with the silliness of Heisenberg and his superpowers, or Wesker's and Chris fight in an active volcano. I'm really curious how the show will be in the end. I won't watch it and expect a faithful Resident Evil series because they don't understand what the fans want to see, but maybe it's still a fun show to watch. The production quality is high, and I hope for a silly, maybe gory zombie splatterfest. What are your expectations? Let me know in the comments and tell us what is your favorite Resident Evil film. Even if you just like it because it's a bad movie and a guilty pleasure of yours. I even can appreciate the first Anderson movie to a certain degree. I just can't think about it that I'm watching a Resident Evil movie. But for a stupid early 2000s zombie film, it can be fun. Have a good one, and I see you in the next video.